Well, when you go to a networking event, you want to be
Mm,
strategic. So, what I teach is if you're going to an event, don't like blindly bump into people and talk to every stranger there. Go to the
mm,
people that lead the event, tell them why you're there, who you're looking to connect with, and ask them who they know that is the perfect person for you to connect with. You only need one person to make a networking event worthwhile. But you want to ask for help because the people that are there coordinating the event, they know who's in the room, and their job
mm.
is to connect you with the most impactful people there. They want to help you win and create a golden connection. So ask them for clarity, and then they'll make the introduction. That person they're introducing you to already trusts you more because the leader has just introduced you.
Welcome to the Bricks and Banks podcast, where real estate meets real wealth. Whether you're building from the ground up or stacking your paper to the ceiling, Steph breaks down
Artist
property
IO.
power plays and money moves you can act on. From first-time buyers to seasoned investors, this podcast is your blueprint for financial freedom through real estate, business, and investment. Subscribe now. It's time to build your future. This is Bricks and Banks with Steph.
Before we dive into the conversation, I want to let you know that this episode is a paid partnership with BetterHelp. You know what's interesting? We all have these patterns in our lives, ways we react when we are stressed out, hurt, or disappointed. Maybe it's shutting people out, or walking yourself to exhaustion, or that voice in your head that says you're not good enough. For me, it's shutting people out. And here's the thing. We know these patterns aren't helping us. We can see them clearly, but breaking them, that's a complete different story. I used to think I could just power through on my own, that time would heal everything, but I just needed to be stronger. But the truth is, some cycles are nearly impossible to break alone. Not because we're weak, but because we're too close to see the full picture. That's why having outside support, real professional support, becomes a game changer. When you have someone trained to help you understand why these patterns exist and give you actual tools to help change them, everything shifts. You're not just surviving anymore, you're actually on your path to healing. That's why I'm partnering with BetterHelp today. BetterHelp is on a mission to make starting therapy easier. They'll connect you with a credentialed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice, ensuring confidentiality throughout the process. You just get to fill out a questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist as soon as possible. And if that's not the right fit, don't fret. You can easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. To get started, head on to betterhelp.com/bricks and banks. That is betterhelp.com/bricks and banks to get 10% off your first month of therapy. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so you can click and get right on. Breaking the cycle starts with one step, and this could be yours. Going to therapy is not a sign of weakness. No, it's a sign of strength. BetterHelp makes therapy simple with 10% off your first month of therapy to help you get started. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. A problem shared is a problem half solved. We are live. Hey everyone, welcome to another amazing episode of the Breaks and Bank podcast. Today I have with me Brandon Barnum, and no, he's not affiliated to T.T. Barnum, but I would say he's the greatest king of referrals. He's an award-winning entrepreneur. He's a CEO of HOA.com, best-selling author of the Raving referral series, and then again, the king of referrals. Welcome, Brandon, to the podcast. Yay!
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. A pleasure to be here.
Amazing. So how did you come about the name the King of Referrals? Is it something that has been bestowed on you based on your street credibility?
Yeah, it wasn't something I claimed for myself. It was on the cover of a magazine, a business magazine, that somebody called me the king of referrals, and that sort of stuck. And I've generated over $500 million in transactions that I've closed by referrals, and I've helped others close billions of dollars of referrals. And it looks like we just lost Stephanie, so I'll just kind of keep going. For those of you that are watching, thanks for joining me. Yep, a little bit of background, I guess, on me since Stephanie will be rejoining us. She's joining in from London, but it sounds like she may have lost her connection. But yeah, my last platform, we had over 5 million professionals and business owners that were on our platform to generate referrals. So I've helped millions of people generate referrals and generated billions of dollars for other people and just love to help people grow their business by referrals. While we wait for Stephanie, I'll give you a few fun facts, which is that if your business relies on referrals, you're not alone. In fact, if you serve business owners, 84% of business to business sales start with a referral. So if you're out there trying to sell to businesses and business owners, you definitely want to be working by referral. And the reality is that when you're referred to people, they are 400% more likely to hire you. Okay. So we all know referrals work. 90% of human beings say they trust recommendations from people that they know. And one of the most exciting statistics about referrals is that referred clients are 16% more profitable overall because they trust you more. So they spend more money with you, they stay on as a client longer, and they refer other people to you. So your business is much more profitable than if you're just cold calling or using ads to bring in prospects. Maybe you're doing social media, and social media is great because then at least people get to really know you. But the reality is that when somebody is introduced to you and you're the one that's being recommended and endorsed to them, then the trust transfer that happens when they trust you and they recommend you to somebody else, that person trusts you before they ever get on a phone conversation with you or a Zoom call. And so that's part of the power of referrals. Those are a few of the interesting statistics. Now, just to give you kind of my background, since we're waiting for Stephanie to come back, what I hear often when I go into these podcasts is, how'd you get started? How did this all start for you? Well, I found out back in college that you don't have to get married to have kids. And so at 22, I had my first son. And by 24, I was a single dad. I had full custody of my son at 24. And all of a sudden, I had to figure out how to pay for life. And I had bought a house, so I had a mortgage already. But now all of a sudden, I had daycare on top of it. And I was working for a law firm, but I was only making $20,000 a year. So it wasn't enough to pay for all the new responsibilities I suddenly found myself having. So what I did was I ended up getting in the mortgage business, and I had somebody that taught me the art and science of what I now call raving referrals. They mentored me and really helped me get on my path. They saw that I was willing to do the work, and so they taught me the work to do. And through that process, I was able to X my income from $20,000 a year to $200,000 a year in just 18 months. So it really made a difference and it changed my life. And from there, I spent 12 years in the mortgage industry, ended up doing, like I said, over $500 million in transactions just from that business and that industry. And ever since then, I've been on a mission to help as many people as possible boost their business by referral and get all the clients that you dream of and desire. And find is that a lot of people start off their Mondays and they have kind of an empty calendar and they're sitting there looking at this blank calendar going, oh man, how do I find sales? How do I find clients? How do I find more business? And when you use the raving referral system and really build relationships with people that are out there serving your perfect prospects every day, it makes a huge difference. So there's three main sources of clients that you get. Number one, your past clients and customers. Hopefully, you're really good at serving your clients and providing your products and services. And so people rate you highly on that. Well, if you do a great job, then you should get lots of clients from your past clients. So we're going to talk about the art of the ask in just a minute. But that past clients are a great place to get new clients because they've already had an experience with you and they can talk about the difference that you made and the service that you provided. So it really makes a huge difference. But the second category is your social sphere. Now, that's all the people on social media, your fans, your followers, of course. but it's also the people that are in your contacts on your cell phone. You've got people that you've had relationships with for years, but have you ever approached them wanting to do business with them? What we find is most people haven't. They've got a block, like a mental block, and they don't want to approach some of the people in their relationships, and that's okay. But your social sphere, the people you went to school with, maybe you go to church with them, maybe you play sports with them, and you're doing life with them. These people can all give you business if you'll ask in the right way and the right time. And then the third category of sources of business for you is other businesses and professionals that are serving your perfect prospects every day. So the reality is, you've got a lot of people that are out there and they're already serving your clients and customers, the people that you want to win business from and attract as clients for your business. And so what you want to do is you want to package yourself as the solution to the challenges that your future clients face. And one of the best ways to do that is to identify the people that are already serving your clients, whether that's business owners or homeowners, kind of B2B or B2C, or those are the two primary. You might be in education or government or some other categories, but for the most part, this applies primarily to those that sell to business owners and those that sell to homeowners or consumers. Maybe they're renters, doesn't have to be a homeowner. Homeowner is just the most affluent consumer type, right? Somebody that's more established, they've got more income, and therefore they can spend more money on your products and services. So those are kind of the two groups of people. Now, I run HOA.com. HOA in the US stands for Homeowner Association. And there's 375. Most people don't love their HOA, so we're on a mission to change all that. And what we find is that when you focus on partnering with other people that are already serving homeowners, for example, or business owners, then you can present yourself as the solution to the challenges that their clients come to them with. For example, I was in the mortgage business, right? I would partner with real estate agents, financial advisors, insurance agents, attorneys, because they would have clients that would come to them when they were buying a house, wanting to refinance a house, or other scenarios. And I would be the solution to their challenges. So, the question for you is, how do you position your services that you provide as the solution for the challenges that somebody else faces? And you've got to think about, who are the people that my clients are going to with that challenge? Maybe it's a CPA, maybe it's an attorney, maybe it's a financial advisor, an insurance agent, a contractor, a business owner. Who are the businesses and the professionals that your clients are going to seeking counsel and support in those areas? And so, hey, Stephanie's back. Hi, Stephanie.
I'm so sorry about that. I had to reconnect on a different network. So sorry.
No worries. I've just been given a master class on referrals over here. So I've just been entertaining your audience, and I've
Nice.
told them my whole story. And we've been talking about the three main sources of referrals, where referrals come from. We
Wow,
were just about to
I
get,
missed the entire conversation.
I know you're gonna have to watch the replay to catch up, but it's all good. It's all good.
All right.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you. Hopefully, I've entertained your audience and we haven't lost too many people. I've really been pouring into them, telling them interesting statistics
Thank you.
about referrals.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Hey, you know what? Tech happens. As a tech CEO, I've had many
And
technical
it's
difficulties.
this is the first time I'm recording out of my studio, so I'm not just used to not being in my safe space.
Well, we're happy to have you. I know your fans and followers are happy that you're back, and feel
Definitely.
free to ask any questions you want. And one of the things that we were about to talk about is the art of the ask, but we can get into that whenever you want. So you take
Yeah.
over, kick it off, and tell me how you'd like to start.
Amazing. I know we were talking about how you gained the street cred named King of Referrals, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I jumped the gun. So
Yeah.
can you
So
take us
again,
back to that
that was
story?
a magazine. Somebody wrote an article about me. They kind of learned about what I was doing. I've
Mm,
written a number of books on referrals. So The first book that I wrote was called Raving Referrals, and so that's kind of the primary
Yes,
book.
that's the
And then
main
we've
one.
done some specialty books for different industries, whether you're in real estate or maybe mortgage. We've got a book
Mortgage.
for mortgage lenders. We've got a book for dentists, and we've got 4 more books coming out this year. So, I've definitely spent a lot of time focused on learning the art and science of referrals, and I just love helping other people win more business, help more people.
Amazing. So before you even got into the whole referring game, how did life look for you in the early days?
Yeah, well, I sort of told that story. I talked
Mm,
about how when I was in my 20s, I had got full custody of my son at age 24 and was able to 10x my income from 20,000 to $200,000 a year by mentorship, and really that's what it was. But I'll share a story that I didn't share while you were reconnecting your Wi-Fi. One of the things that I learned is the power of events. We were just talking, Stephanie, about really identifying who's already serving your perfect prospects, the future customers and clients that you want to win. And what we
mm,
were talking about is how do you package your solution as the answer to their challenge that their clients are coming to them with? And one of the things that I didn't mention that I found to be really powerful is that events drive revenue. And so, one of the things that I recommend is that you partner with those other business owners or professionals that
mm.
are serving your clients every day and find out how can you create an event where you're working with them, where they're promoting you to all of their clients and customers and community. And now you're doing an event, whether it's a lunch and learn, a workshop, a seminar, it could be a Zoom call, a podcast like this. And that way you're able to add value to your community and to their community because what we teach is 1 + 1 = 11.
11. The
11. Isn't
power
that
of
great?
leverage.
And it's leverage. That's right.
Yeah. So before getting into business, what were you typically doing? How did you what was growing up for you like? What did you study in school and what was like that's part of your life? Because I know you've lived several different lives, so just want to get a bit of each segment.
Yeah, I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and I had a very different background than anybody I've ever met.
Mm,
My parents got divorced. My mom decided that she was a hippie lesbian back in the 70s. And so, I was raised by women, which was a very different experience than anybody that I've met and had the pleasure of meeting. So we moved around a lot. I lived in a different house and went to a different school in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade. So for 7
wow.
straight years, we moved every single year because my mom was just kind of a hippie and she, didn't have a lot of stability. And so I think that helped me be more sort of outgoing
Hmm.
because I was constantly meeting new people and
New
I had to
people.
start over all the time.
Wow. So how did that shape your life in terms of what you wanted to do and how you got into business?
Well, yeah, I think it shaped more who I am more than what
Mm,
I do, but it
okay.
definitely helped me to recognize the power of referrals. And what happened once I moved in sixth grade, we moved in seventh grade as well, but I was so tired of starting over that I took the bus an hour to school every day and an hour home because I
Wow.
wanted to be with those same people. I finally found some friends and I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not leaving them. So
Uh,
even if I have to travel 2 hours a day to get to school, and this is the public bus, there's not the school bus, right?
wow.
So that was
A
interesting. But
thousand stops in between.
well, 1,000 stops and some really interesting people, right? I mean, yeah, there were some very interesting people. I learned a lot and grew a lot, and it just opened my eyes to everything. But in college, I studied marketing. I was a marketing
Mm,
major. It's actually where I met my wife. We were in an entrepreneurship class and met my wife at Portland State University back in the 90s. And I've just always had a passion for business and an interest in marketing.
nice. One of the things that stands out in your story was how you went from it being a single dad, you went from earning 20K a year to 200K in just a span of 18 months.
That's right.
That's bonkers, especially for right now that people are looking for how to 10x their income. And it's not just a jump, it's a leap. Can you take us through that period? What? what events looked like to you and what triggered such massive change?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one of the things that I realized is I had to be different than everybody else, right? If you really want to attract a lot of clients, you got to add a lot of value.
Mm,
You also have to do things a little differently than everybody else. So, in the late 90s, not many real estate companies had websites. There wasn't Zillow.com or, homes.com. And so you couldn't really search for real estate. But I was in the mortgage business. So what I said is, hey, this is the future. This internet thing is only going to grow and expand. And so
mm,
what I did is I created the Portland Online Home Buyer Guide. And then I went to
mm,
real estate agents and I offered to feature their listings on our website. And so I built my own website. It was super slow. There was this thing called dial up. You're not even old enough to
I
remember it,
don't know.
but before Wi Fi, you had to have a phone line. And when you would
Okay.
connect, it would like
Next.
sound like the whole house was crashing. And so the website was super slow,
Mm,
but it was faster than having to drive across town to go look at a property. So
nice.
I was the first one that had like 8 different photos of a house. Only half of all real estate websites had any listings at all. And if they did have a photo of a house, it was only the exterior photo of the house. I said, this is silly. We want to be able
Mm.
to sit at home and see 10 photos of homes. And so that's what we did. And I added value to the real estate agents that I worked with. And that separated me from everybody else. It made me different and I was able to add a ton of value. And that's one of the things you've got to be sure that you're doing.
So you essentially had the first-hand advantage because you went into it. You basically pioneered that space and you took advantage of the opportunity. Amazing. I know you talked about relationships because moving a lot helped you to build relationships, which is very different because I have this friend that says moving a lot made him not to make relationships because he never could really keep a relationship because you're always moving on to the next person. But in your case, it helped you to go out there and build relationships. So I'm curious, what was the first big referral introduction that completely changed the trajectory for your career?
Oh, well, the story I love to tell in the book, I have a chapter called Referral of a Lifetime. And
Okay.
it was back in fact, let me get you some visuals. It was back in 2004. I was working with a charity called Northwest Medical Teams.
Mm,
And we were helping raise money and raise awareness for this organization, this charity that was basically like Doctors Without Borders, but it was a Christian charity. And so they had volunteer doctors that would go serve over in Africa, South
mm,
America. Anytime there'd be an earthquake or a flood or a famine, they would have doctors that would volunteer. And Northwest Medical Teams would go send the support, and they'd send medical supplies and pharmaceuticals to help the people through these tough times. Well, they were looking for a keynote speaker. And so I knew a man named Mark Victor Hansen. I didn't know him personally, but I knew somebody who knew him. He's the author
okay.
of Chicken Soup for the Soul. So this is a program from the event that I
Success
did. And
with
you can see it back
integrity.
in
In
2004.
2004, okay, yeah, can see it.
I ran a company called Integrity Lending. So I called it Success with Integrity. And there's Mark Victor Hansen
Yeah.
21 years ago. So I met Mark on that day, May 18th, 2004. We raised enough money to send
Mm,
$1.2 million in medical supplies around the world. But
wow.
the coolest part for me was that Mark really challenged the audience to write 101 goals.
Mm,
And I'd never done that before.
exactly. That's like against the goal train. They typically say keep it short and simple. So why would I have 101 lines of different goals? What was the rationale behind the 101 goals?
It's really to take time to dream about what you want to experience, accomplish, achieve. Who do you want to meet? Where
Mm,
do you want to go? Books you want to read? All these things. Well, I went to Hawaii the following week and I took my laptop and my wife goes to bed at like 9 o'clock. So I go out on the beach with the ocean under the moon and the stars, listen to my praise music. And I wrote 338 goals. And one of my goals was that I wanted Mark Victor Hansen to be my mentor and another one of
wow.
my goals, and he said you have to have a date. You have to not only have a goal, but you have to
Mm,
have a specific date that you're going to accomplish every one of these goals, right? So I had 338 goals that I had really envisioned. I took several days to just go, okay, what is it that why am I here? What's my purpose on this planet? God, would you create me for? And I felt like I got clarity on that and a download. And then I just dreamed of things that I wanted to do and accomplish and experience and achieve and places I wanted to go. At that point, I really hadn't traveled much. And what's amazing is in 1 year's time, I'd accomplished 100 of those goals. And some of them were really insane. Like
Challenging one.
I wanted to meet Bono, the lead singer of U2.
Wow.
In 6 months, that happened. Like, I didn't know how that would happen, but Mark's like, focus your energy and your attention and your intention on what you wanted to accomplish.
Mm.
One of the things is I wanted Mark Victor Hansen to write about me in a book by May 28th, 2005. And what happened is he called me up several months after we first started hanging out, and he said, "Hey, I'm writing the sequel to the 1 Minute Millionaire. It's going to be called Cracking the Millionaire Code. Would it be okay if I write about you?"
Wow.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
because
"Yes, it would."
you already cracked it.
And this book came out 3 days after the date that I had intended a year earlier.
Wow, that's crazy work.
And so then I'm like, "Oh,
Eh,
wait, you mean I can ask for anything?" So I've got my goals written all the way through the year 20. I have
Right.
hundreds of goals, things I wanna do. Like, I've been to Africa multiple times, Asia, South America. You're in London at the moment. I had never been to London. I've been to London a couple of times now, and so just amazing things because you live life by design rather than by the
I love that. I just love it. Like it's mind blowing because it's a total regeneration of the mind, rewiring of our perspective because we've always been taught keep your goals, keep it short and simple. KISS, keep it short and simple for your goals. Have a SMART goal, specific, measurable, achievable, within a specific reach. What's the R word? And timely.
realistic. R is realistic.
Realistic and timely. So all those things don't really matter because what you've done, you basically went against the law of KISS and SMART goal setting.
Totally. I have a business partner. He says stupid goals, not smart goals, stupid goals. Stupid is an acronym. The S is strategic, right? You
So
want
you,
goals that are strategic. You want goals that are transformational, something that's really going to
mm,
transform your life and change everything. You want goals that are unrealistic. We don't want to set realistic goals that you can achieve easily. You want unrealistic
okay.
goals that you're going to have to stretch for, right? And then the P
Mm,
is for purpose driven. We want purpose driven goals, things that move us and make a difference. The I is for innovative. We want goals that are going to change things and we're going to use the latest technology and innovation. And then D is dynamic. And dynamic means we're going to shift and adjust as the flow demands. And so we teach create stupid goals.
yeah, that's a very realistic. That's how life works because life doesn't follow a particular path. And it's not like you're saying it just out of theory. This is something you've done and you're basically living out that stupid goal setting and it's working for you.
Yeah.
Over
And the biggest
300
thing is
goals.
the biggest thing is be intentional, right? Take time.
Mm,
Go to a beach, go to a mountain, go in the forest, go get alone and just spend some time really focusing to get rid of your cell phone, like for 24 hours and just
okay.
get crystal clear on the life you want to live. Because I guarantee you, it's not here sitting there touching on a screen. It's out there in the real world. But for you to live that life, you have to first envision it and hear. You have
Mm,
to get clear on the life that you want to live, and you've got to write it down. There's something about writing out your goals and having a specific date that you want to achieve them. And magic and miracles happen, just like I shared with you earlier, 100 goals achieved in the first year. And when that book came out, I'm like, wow, anything is possible.
well, Brandon, I feel like you've shared so much value already. If we end this podcast here, we're made. But let's talk about your role as CEO of HOA.com. What's HOA.com to start with? And I know that the vision of your company is unity through community. That's like the bold printed one on top of your head.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it
like,
is.
what's HOA.com? What do you guys do?
Yeah, well, so we are on a mission, thank you, to create unity through community. We feel, especially since 2020, people
Yeah,
feel more disconnected than ever. And we
true.
want to feel like we belong. We want to feel connected. So we believe HOA stands for homeowner associations here in the
Oh,
US.
okay.
Over half of all homes are in a neighborhood that is
Mm-hmm.
run by a homeowner association. And it's just a group of volunteers that come together. There's rules that an HOA, everyone that lives in an HOA agrees to. And it's a set of standards that we're going to keep our homes and our properties up to a level of excellence. And it means you can't paint your house pink. You have certain colors that get approved and you have to get
Yeah,
approval. So anyway, that's part of what an HOA is. But
okay.
what we're doing is we're revolutionizing that. We're using AI for HOAs. Our AI answers questions about the homeowner association. So homeowners know what they
Yeah,
can and can't do and how best to operate. And then what we do is we also help the homeowners find professionals they can trust. So we have a
it's very
page for
important.
every neighborhood in America. On that page, we vet different professionals, realtors, insurance agents, painters, plumbers that people can hire with confidence. And then we also help the community do events that bring everybody together, where there is a barbecue, an ice cream social, a bounce house, puppies in the park, all kinds of fun stuff, bring neighbors together.
Wow, that's amazing because especially in this day of AI and even after first of COVID, when COVID struck, everybody became disjointed.
That's
And
right.
now in this day of AI, people are distrusting. It's difficult for you to trust what you're saying because we don't know if that's augmented reality or not. Everything looks so real and everything seems fake at the same time. So having this community, this sense of community, intentional interaction with people, it's basically changing the game and it's building that trust that we lost at COVID. So when you first stepped into this position as CEO, running your business, what problem are you trying to solve? I know we talked about the gaps that COVID created. What was that push for you at that point, and how did you start turning this vision into reality?
Yeah. So when we first started the company, our goal was to create a referral network of professionals who serve homeowners. And we started this
Oh,
company as the homeowneralliance.com. That was our brand and our company.
okay.
And along the way, I was able to acquire the domain HOA, Home Owner Alliance. I said, we need a shorter domain that's easier for people to remember. And so I was able to acquire the domain HOA.com. That kind of changed the focus, right? From
Mm,
just focusing on the professionals to now focusing on the homeowners and also the HOA boards and the property management company that serve homeowners. So what we started with was a referral network. What we
yeah.
have now is an ecosystem for
Wow.
homeowners and all the people who serve them.
Mind blown. You keep topping the charts at every single point, and now you've helped over 250,000 real estate professionals grow their businesses because of your platform. So when you think about people who achieve extraordinary results like you, because you keep breaking your last record, versus those who don't achieve any results, what are the common traits or habits that you see that stand out, that
I
differentiates
think
the both sets of people?
Yeah, great question. I think number one, you got to have a big vision and a compelling mission, right?
Mm,
You've got to be on a mission to accomplish something and achieve something that's going to make a difference in the world. For me, I'm about impact, and so I want my legacy to be not how many dollars were in my bank account, but how many lives have I touched and changed. And when I went to that beach in Hawaii, and I asked, "Okay, God, what do you have me here for?" Part of my download was that I'm here to inspire, empower, and impact every person on the planet. Now, that's not me, that's we. So I'm crystal clear. that's not about me doing that. That's about us doing that together. You're part of that, Stephanie. You're having me here, and
Yes.
together we're inspiring people, right? And they're going to pay it forward. We teach be a charity champion. And so some people are going to listen to this and they're going to take chances that they wouldn't have taken otherwise, right? So we want to equip and empower people to live better lives. And I think that's what real game changers do.
And you've been able to build such a large network of community across different countries, over 195 countries. How do you manage to keep everyone in check, like keep that human connection and not just losing it as one other big organization on the streets? How are you able to keep that human connection and keep people in to keep people aligned to your vision, unity through community?
Yeah, well, so definitely it starts with technology and then it starts with
Mm,
communication, right? So you have to have the technology so that you can reach people and communicate with them. And we're at the core, we're a tech company. We started out as a software as a service company. And then what we realized is we're really a community as a service company. So we exist to help communities connect and to get neighbors to know their neighbors. So
mm,
part of that is casting the vision. We talked about you have to have a vision that's big enough that it inspires people and a mission, a cause, a movement that gets people in the game. And so that's part of it is this whole movement of unity through community isn't my movement, it's our movement. And it's interesting. I wear an Ubuntu bracelet. Do you know what Ubuntu means?
I've heard of it, but I've never really researched it to know what it means. It's an African.
Ubuntu means I am because we are.
Oh,
And in my books, I use the font Ubuntu in everything. Every word in this book is
yeah,
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu
I
font
am because
because
we are.
yeah,
Right? And that's really the essence of it. It's not about
yeah,
me. You got to flip me upside down and it becomes we. So
yeah,
ideally, if you want to change the world, you have to enroll people in that vision. But it's not my mission. It's his mission, right? And I'm just a missionary helping spread the word and do as much good as I can in my time on this planet.
amazing. I know relationship building, relating with people is one of the most dicey things in business because that's why
Mm,
they hire entire teams, HR, relationship manager, because it's not an easy path to navigate. Everybody's going through whatever they're going through. People can be very difficult to navigate. And you often talk about the art of the axe. And
yes.
some people can find it uncomfortable when you start speaking to them about a vision because sometimes you might tend to be pushy about it. So how did you get comfortable like trying to how would I put it? Trying to okay, what's the word?
Furry pearls.
Well, ask for referrals and trying to convince people, yes. Trying to convince people about the opportunity you're presenting to them.
Yeah, great question. I think the biggest issue, so most people don't feel comfortable or
Mm,
confident asking for referrals, right? And the reason why is because they're in their head instead of being in their heart. Okay. They're thinking about selling somebody, right?
mm,
How do I convince somebody? Your job is not to convince anybody of anything. Your job is to serve, don't sell. Okay. If you're serving, you're coming out of your heart. It's what difference can I make? How can I help?
mm,
Versus it's about what can I give rather than what I can get. Okay. And I want to teach you the art of the ask. And this is a game changer because it's going to help everybody that's listening feel comfortable and confident asking for referrals because you're really not asking for you. You're asking if you can help. Okay. And there's three.
mm. Okay.
The first step is called setting the stage. The second step is listening for the referral triggers. And then the third step is to ASK to GET. So let's unpack that. The first thing that you want to do, most people ask for referrals at the wrong time in the
Mm,
wrong way. And that's why they don't get many. Because what they do is they wait till the end of the relationship or the transaction, and then they ask for referrals. And that's okay, but it's way better to set the stage at the beginning. If you've got a
mm,
client or customer that decides to hire you for whatever service you provide, what you want to do before you complete that first meeting, once they've decided to hire you, maybe they've signed the agreement or whatever it is you want to say, before I let you go, can I ask you a quick favor? They'll always either say yes or maybe, tell me more, right? And then what you want to say is, I love helping people like you have a 5-star experience and really get an amazing result. And I'm so committed to delivering a 5-star experience for you. And what I'd like to ask is once I've really proven myself to you and delivered an amazing experience, would it be okay if I ask you for a review and a referral later on?
Hmm.
This is setting the stage. Have you asked them to do anything right now, Stephanie?
No.
Not at all, right? What you're doing is you're not asking for anything. You're telling them, I'm
Yeah.
going to do a great job. And when I do, I'd like to ask for the ability, the right to ask you for referrals later on at a later date. Now, what's
Yeah.
going to happen is some people will give you referrals right there on the spot. Stephanie, since you mentioned it, I have a brother, sister, client, customer, and they need your help right now. Fantastic. I'd love to help them.
Wow.
But setting the stage is about getting their agreement that you're going to earn the right to ask them for referrals later on. So that's step one, setting the stage. Now, you start serving your client, you're providing your service, you're delivering your products, whatever it is that you do. Now you're in step two, you're listening for the referral triggers. Okay. Step two, you got 2 ears, so listen up. And what you're listening for is an expression of appreciation.
Hmm.
Stephanie, thank you so much. You've helped me look so great. I feel so great. I've lost so much weight. I've made so much money. I've saved so much time. My business has grown. Whatever the result of your service is, they're basically praising you. You're a great
Hmm.
communicator. Thank you so much. Once you hear that referral trigger, that person's in peak referral state. They've already
Wow.
agreed to refer you at a later date. Now they've just told you how cool you are, right? How great you are and how great they are. And now it's time to ASK to GET. And it sounds like this. I'm so glad to hear you say that. Remember when we first started working together, I told you that I love providing 5-star experiences for clients like you. And I'm looking to take on a couple more clients. So, do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell real estate right now? And you basically just fill in whatever service you provide. But when
Oh,
you set the stage, you listen for the referral triggers, and then you ASK to
get the
GET,
people.
you'll get more referrals because people are already agreeable and you'll feel confident and comfortable all throughout the entire process. And so will your clients.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. And in so doing, you're already creating the stage for your next deal. And you haven't even completed the first deal yet. That's a total hack. That's a game changer. I see how
It's
you
game
moved from 20K to 100K.
It's a game changer. What happens is, like, I was just in a meeting up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I
Mm-hmm.
was meeting with a partner manager and a marketing director for this company. And when I met with them, they said, wow, this is amazing. What you're building is so cool. And I said, and I'm pitching them on a several $100,000 partnership program, right? But when I was meeting with the partner manager afterwards, I said, by the way, I bet you know other companies just like yours that would love to be a part of what we're doing. He said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I said, would you be open to and able, if can I hire you like on the side and pay you commissions to introduce other 8 and 9 figure companies that would love to be a part of what we're doing? He said, yes, I'd love to. We've not
Wow.
even signed a contract. Okay. They haven't paid us one penny, but he's already agreeing to refer me and introduce us to other 8 and 9 figure businesses. And when you get somebody at that level of status, this is one of the other tricks that we teach is called influencing influencers. When you get people that are at that level, they know other people at that level. So if you're comfortable and confident asking, the answer is always no if you don't ask, but if you do ask, often the answer is yes.
Wow. Okay. Now we understand the art of ASK. Like I
Right.
said, we're just going through different master classes in this session, and I'm loving every bit of it. So let's move to AI. I
All
know
right.
you mentioned that you're helping to create the first personality-based AI for sales. Where did you get this idea from? Is it one of your moments with God when you were on your own? And how do you see tools like this shaping the way we build relationships and close deals in the future?
Yeah, so I can't claim credit for the idea. I was hired as a CEO of a company that had an amazing personality system called Bank Code. And they hired me to help build their AI back in 2019, long before
Hmm.
ChatGPT and all these APIs. So we had to hire an IBM Watson engineer back in those days. It was completely different. But this system is called Bank Code. And the reason it is because there's four personality codes: blueprint,
Okay.
action, nurturing, and knowledge. And basically all human beings are made up of these four codes. And maybe
Okay.
you've taken a DISC or Myers Briggs or some of the other personality systems. What I love about this one is that I carry these cards with me. And when I meet somebody new, I say, "You want to see a magic trick?" I just did this the other day. The answer is always yes. I've never
Yes.
had one person that doesn't want to see a magic trick. So then what I do is I hand them these four cards and I
Mm-hmm.
say, "Do me a favor, read the information on these four cards and then sort the cards in the order of what's most like you to least like you. That will help me serve you better and save us both time." And what happens is normally in 30 to 60 seconds, they'll look at the cards and they'll sort them in order, and then they'll hand them back to me and they'll tell me who they are. They've just handed me the keys to the kingdom because now I understand exactly who they are. It's like instant empathy. I don't have to
Mm.
guess. I don't have to profile them. I don't have to try and figure out how they're wired. They just told me who they are. And then what I do is I spend the next 60 seconds saying, "Oh, that's fascinating." So, number one, you're high action. So, you're like to net it out fast. You don't want to be bored and bogged down with a bunch of details. You're going to use your intuition more than information. So basically, I describe back to them who they just told me they are. And normally, within 3 minutes of meeting a brand new person, I've built
Okay.
more rapport. And normally, what happens is they'll say, "Wow, this guy gets me." Right? In fact, I
Wow.
was at a conference not long ago, and I was doing this at the end of the conference, and I just went through that whole process. And I told this man, after telling him who he is, I said, "What's cool is people say, 'Wow, he gets me.'" Right then, one of the speakers of the conference came over and she said, "I want to see a magic trick." So I handed her the cards. She's high action. So she handed the cards back in 30 seconds.
Wow.
And I took 60 seconds to tell her who she was. Within 90 seconds of meeting this woman, she turned to the guy I was just talking to and she said, "Wow, he gets me." Now, what's cool about this is once you understand who your prospects are,
Mm-hmm.
now you can customize your conversations to not only serve
Yeah.
them better, but to sell them better. Because now you
Nice.
know if they're auction, you don't want to bog them down with details. If
Mm-hmm.
they're high blueprint, they need to know step by step the process and the system that's going to lead to a predictable result. So you
Wow.
customize your conversations or your presentations based on the client.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's good because a lot of people like they gravitate towards those people that are relatable with them. Once we can share a bit of similarities, like that was the first thing you mentioned when I told you, oh, I stay in London. You're like, oh, your wife and kid came to London last a couple of months ago, and that's a relationship point. And once people find just one thing that is relatable, they just gravitate towards you, and the rest is history. Because one of the key things I've noticed in business is one of the key things that drives success in business is your likability. Once you're likable, it's easy for people for you to close deals because people just see you, they like you, like, oh yeah, I just want to work with this person because I feel like this person gets me more than this other person. Even though this product is better for your need, but you're like, I think I'll have more laughs with this person. I'll rather go to the bar with him. So yeah, I'm I'm all for that fun.
Yeah, and there's two different types of people, right? So first
Yeah.
you've got those that are high nurturing and action. These are intuitive people. They're going to like you, right? You're high nurturing and action. So you're
Yep.
going to trust your gut. You're going to go on your intuition. You're going to let your spirit be your guide. And then there's some people that are all about the information, right? They want to know all there is to know about your product and service, and they're going to analyze and scrutinize. and they need to know the process, right, behind how everything is going to work step by step so that they feel comfortable and confident. And so what your job as a business owner or professional is understanding who you're working with. If you've got somebody that's high knowledge, give them as much information as possible so that they can make a wise, informed decision.
Mm,
Don't push them. Don't try and close them because you'll just repel them.
yeah,
And if you're high nurturing in action, maybe you want to hang out with people that are high nurturing in action, right? Because our
exactly.
vibe attracts our
Right.
tribe.
Nice. Like I said, you just keep hitting the notes, keep hitting the notes. Our vibe attracts our tribe. That's amazing. So let's bring it down to real estate because a lot of people rely on leads generation, and but you've shown it's possible to grow and make it through business deals without spending a cent on lead generations. So, what are your top three practical strategies someone can start using today to find clients organically? I know we've spoken about a couple of them, but just streamline it for us in this session.
Yeah, I think partnerships are huge. I teach the referral partner blueprint, and it's
Mm.
just a simple system. It's in the Raving Referrals book, but it's a simple system to help you actually sit down with somebody who's already serving your perfect prospects every day and
Okay.
create a plan of action of how you're going to cross refer and cross promote people. There's a lot of people that go to a BNI meeting or a chamber of commerce and they've got people that they want to do business with, but they're not sure what to do. So the referral partner blueprint helps you create a plan of action where both parties agree to how they're going to promote the other person. I think that's huge. The other thing I would do if I'm listening right now, I'd say survey your clients and customers. Find
Mm.
out how they would rate your services and then ask them for referrals. Ask them if they rate you a 5 out of 5, thank them, and then ask them to refer you to other people. I like creating referral contests and actually have a reward or a prize that people can
Yes.
earn. Maybe for every person they refer, they're going to get an entry into the prize, or maybe they win a prize for every person they refer you to. But part of this is just asking for what you want. It's like sitting on that beach and being intentional about what it is that you want. And the more that you ask for what you want, the more you're going to get it.
Nice. I know a lot of people would say it's just listen, pay attention to what the other person is saying, especially when you're in a network event. But how would you advise someone to make a first move? This is a real estate networking event and you want to try and land your first client in that space. What's your approach going to be like?
Well, when you go to a networking event, you want to be
Mm,
strategic. So, what I teach is if you're going to an event, don't like blindly bump into people and talk to every stranger there. Go to the
mm,
people that lead the event, tell them why you're there, who you're looking to connect with, and ask them who they know that is the perfect person for you to connect with. You only need one person to make a networking event worthwhile. But you want to ask for help because the people that are there coordinating the event, they know who's in the room. And their job
mm.
is to connect you with the most impactful people there. They want to help you win and create a golden connection. So ask them for clarity and then they'll make the introduction. That person they're introducing you to already trusts you more because the leader has just introduced you.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. And that's Yeah, because the host already knows who is in the room. So just go and meet the host for navigation in it.
That's it. That's it. Stephanie, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad that
Yeah,
we got to do this conversation together and hopefully you'll
definitely.
get to go back and listen to the time that we lost. But hopefully I kept your audience entertained and engaged while we were going
Definitely.
through this.
Yeah.
And this has been such a pleasure. I know we're, wrapping up our time here,
hmm
but I'm just so grateful for you having me on.
I'm grateful too. But before we wrap up, we want to move to the firecracker segment. So the
Okay.
firecracker is me throwing you a bunch of fire sessions, and you're going to hit me with the best answer. So what's one book you think every entrepreneur should read right
I
now?
love The 1 Minute Millionaire. I think it's a brilliant book by Mark Victor Hansen is what led me to connect with him.
Mm.
So everybody should read Think and Grow Rich. That's a timeless classic, but The 1 Minute Millionaire is a fantastic.
Okay. What's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Write down 101 goals. Get clear on what it is that you want and then go
Yeah.
after it. Just
Good
that clarity
intention.
alone will change your life.
Nice. What's one daily habit that's become a game changer for your success?
Pray and listen to praise music. For me, I've got to keep my vibe high. And so I listen to praise and worship music just to stay connected. And
Yeah.
so that has changed my life. It gets you through times when things feel tough. I think everybody needs a little Jesus in their life. So I keep a little Jesus with me right here as my reminder of what's really important. So that's what's true for
Yeah.
me.
In the head and in the heart. So, what's if you
Amen.
lost everything tomorrow, what's the first thing you would do to rebuild your wealth?
I would go out to the relationships that I have, and I
Good.
would, I'm first I would go within and ask, "Okay, Lord, you've taken me through this for a reason. What is the lesson that you have for me, and what is
Mm,
the mission that you want me on?" And so I would take some time to go within and really get clear. And then once I had clarity, I would go to the people that I have relational equity with, and I would ask for help. And I would, either ask for a job if I needed to, or create a partnership with people, but it would be to go out and ask for help. Most people are ashamed of asking for help, and so they don't do it. And most of us, when somebody comes to us asking for help, Stephanie, what's our response?
yeah, we want to help because everybody wants to
We want to
give.
help.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But how can we reach you, Brandon? I mean, we've spent an amazing time and it's just been different layers of masterclasses within. But how can we reach you on socials, your websites, LinkedIn? How can we reach you?
Yeah, best way to find me is at brandonbarnum.com. At brandonbarnum.com, you'll find all my socials and my LinkedIn, and you'll find
Nice.
some other tools that'll really help you. Some of the things we've talked about today, you'll find on that page. So check out brandonbarnum.com.
Yeah, please. Can you just share a bit of your books? I know you showed me two books at the start. So let's just do a rundown of both of them right now.
Yeah, so the one that applies to everyone is Raving Referrals. This is the book that the first in the series. Mark
Hmm.
Victor Hansen wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. So he's sold over 600 million books. He said, don't just write a book, build a brand. And so
Mm,
the second book that we did was for dentists. I have a friend who's a dental consultant. So we wrote a book for dentists. Then we came out with one for mortgage pros. So if you're in the mortgage business, you can check that out. And then the latest one is for real estate agents. And so we've got the next one coming out is for Christian business pros. And then we've
that
got commercial real estate agents, business brokers, and business coaches. Those are all set to come out before the end of 2025.
amazing. Like you're on a roll, and I'm sure it's part of your 300 goal plan for the year 2025. But it's been an amazing time having you on the show today. I've learned a lot. I'm sure our audience have gained so much. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being on the show today. It's been a
Oh, it's
pleasure
been my
hosting you.
honor and pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope you guys go out there and make your dreams happen.
Amazing. And there we have it, guys. Let's continue to turn knowledge into action and bricks into bank. This has been an amazing show with Brandon Barnum, and this is Bricks and Banks with
Artlist.io.
Steph signing out. Bye.